was Forever Learning, Always Growing in Toastmasters, which if you just take the first letters of Forever Learning, Always Growing in Toastmasters, you get Flaggett. So everything was stars and stripes during my term, and I am known as Patriotic Pamela. All right, so that's my story. I'm sticking to it. Thank you, Avi.
Thanks a lot, Pam. Really look forward to you here. Next, we have our division name director, Shala. Please take it from here.
Hello, Southwest Project Management Club. I'm so pleased to be here today with this President's Distinguished Club. Such wonderful leaders here. You always have excellent Toastmasters meeting. I'm excited to learn and grow with and hear wonderful speeches today. I'm just going to have a great time, enjoy it all, and have some great takeaways. Thank you, Ivy.
Thank you, Shala. Next, our area director, Luz Babadia.
Well, all I can say is that I'm very proud of you. I said it before as I enter the meeting. I am very proud of you because you are at the top. You are running with it. You are doing wonderfully. And my only connection to veterans is through my husband, who is a Mason, and he is connected to veterans. So that is my only line of connection. I know no one who served the country. So, but thank you to them for what they've done. Back to you, Avi.
Thank you, Luz. Next, we have our dignitary from the PMI. Peter, please take it from here.
Oh, thank you. My name is Peter Vlasic, and as he just said, I'm the lead for the Southwest venue of the Houston, or the PMI Houston. So a pleasure to be here. My first time actually attending one of your meetings, although I've heard a lot about it every third Wednesday when we meet, and Akin's there to talk about it. So happy to be here and looking forward to hearing all the awesome and fun speeches. I don't know anything else if you'd like to hear from me, but just happy to be here, and thanks for having me.
Thank you, Peter. Next, we have Elena. Hey, Elena.
Hello, Southwest Project Management Toastmasters Club. Happy to be here. Great that you organized it. I love speech contests. I love speeches. I think speeches, like a poem, it's the magic of Toastmasters. That's what we do. That's what we like to do. And I'm looking forward to hear speeches. And well, it's great to have a contest now. Soon many clubs will have contests and areas, of course. So it's great to see how it goes. And thank you for inviting me.
Thank you, Elena. Next, we have Yolanda. Yolanda, please introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Yolanda Bynum. I am just a lowly servant to the district. I am a member of 4 or 5 clubs right now, fantastically awesome clubs. And I'm very happy to be here. I love any opportunity I can take to be not a contestant for a contest for a change, where I just get to sit and chill and see how it's done. So what better way to spend my time than to be here and watch these awesome contestants. I look forward to it. And thank you for the invitation.
Thank you, Yolanda.
You're welcome.
Next, we have Dorothy. Hey, Dorothy.
I'm just going to say good evening to everyone, and I am waiting for the contest. That's what I came for. No food, but a contest. Thank you for inviting me.
You always crack us up, Dorothy. Thanks a lot. With that, I think we are ready to go. I will pass on the control to our contest chair, Madam Jessica Sun, who is also our VP of membership. Jessica, please roll from here.
Thank you. Thank you, Avi. Thank you, distinguished guests, all the dignitaries, and also all the Toastmasters. Happy Valentine's Day. And since Abby already introduced all the dignitaries, I'm just going to introduce our contest master, Mr. James Campbell. So Mr. Lieutenant Colonel retired James Campbell received his commission as an infantry officer in February of 1987. Since then, he has served in a variety of duties, such as executive officer, commander, project manager, chief of plans and operations, civil military operation director in Farah province, Afghanistan, deputy chief of staff and secretary general staff. He retired in February 2015. Lieutenant Colonel Campbell's award and the decorations include Legion of Merit, Bronze Star, the Meritorious Service Medal, the Army Commendation Medal, the Army Achievement Medal, the Navy Achievement Medal, the Global War on Terrorism Service Medal, the Afghanistan Campaign Medal with Bronze Star device, the Army Reserve Achievement Medal, the Armed Forces Reserve Medal with Gold or Hourglass and M device, and NATO Achievement Medal, the Air Assault Badge, and the Order of St. Maurice. Let's welcome our contest master, Lieutenant James Campbell.
Thank you, Jessica. I am impressed that you got through all of that tongue twister. I'd like to begin. On Veterans Day in 1988, President Ronald Reagan said, "We remember those who were called upon to give all a person can give, and we remember those who were prepared to make that sacrifice if it were demanded of them in the line of duty. Most of all, we remember the devotion and gallantry with which all of them ennobled their nation as they became champions of a noble cause. Each Veterans Day is a remembrance set aside to honor those who have defended our country in peace and war. On November 11th, we all pause to reflect on American veterans, men and women who have served and sacrificed while wearing the uniforms of the nation. Ordinary Americans performing extraordinary service. In March of 1864, almost 3 years of devastating fighting in the US Civil War, then President Abraham Lincoln reminded the nation of the sacrifices veterans make for us all. The soldier, he said, puts his life at stake and often yields it up in his country's cause. The highest merit then is due the soldier. That demonstration of highest merit is now spanned 244 years, founded upon a singular, enduring principle: liberty and justice for all. Every American is a beneficiary of veterans' vigilance, and valor, and their contributions to our way of life are incalculable. Today, on Veterans Day 2020, we remember and honor all champions of a noble cause and pledge never to forget the sacrifices they made for us. I am proud to extend to my brothers and sister veterans my heartfelt appreciation and thanks for your service in all formations of the United States Armed Forces. And with that, welcome all Toastmasters and guests to the Southwest Project Management Toastmaster Club Fall 2020 Speech Contest. The winner today will not progress to the district contest, Those contestants will be generated through the spring contest. The purpose of today's contest is to provide an opportunity for speakers to improve their speaking abilities and to recognize the best as an encouragement to all. To provide an opportunity to learn by observing the more proficient speakers who have benefited from their Toastmaster training. These proceedings are designed to ensure that we run a fair contest and that each contestant is given a level playing field on which to compete. Madam Contest Chair, are all the contestants eligible to participate in the contest?
Yes, Mr. Contest Master.
Well, then I confirm that all contestants are eligible to participate. Are there any questions, Chief Judge? Are we ready to proceed?
Okay, so if no questions, I guess Zoom Master, let's please send the participant to the breakout room.
We just received the thumbs up from Pam.
Okay.
Sorry, I couldn't find my mute button at the moment.
That never happens to me, ever. So Avi, all of the contestants and Jessica are in the breakout room?
Yes, as of now, all the contestants and judges, they are in the breakout room. I see except one judge.
Well, while everyone's in the breakout room, earlier today I went through the interwebs and I thought it would be interesting for this Veterans Day to see which one of the celebrities that we watch on TV are actually veterans. And as I went through, I found that rapper Ice-T and actor joined the US Army and served for 4 years in the 25th Infantry in Hawaii. It was that time in the Army that allowed him to make some money to buy equipment for his young rap career. Also familiar from the movies, Gal Gadot, who is an Israeli citizen. It's mandatory in Israel to serve in the army. Gadot was a soldier with the Israeli Defense Forces, and that experience helped her landing acting roles that would work around her physicality and toughness. She has said that you give 2 or 3 years and it's not about you. You give your freedom away and you learn discipline and respect. And the last one for this little break was a surprise to me. If you are a fan of PBS, you have seen the commercials for Bob Ross, the very calm and placid painter. He spent 20 years in the Air Force and retired at the rank of Master Sergeant. In an interview, he said, "I was the guy that makes you scrub the toilets, the guy who makes you make your bed, and who screams at you for being late to work. The job requires you to be mean and tough," and he was fed up with it. Quite a difference between the calm painter you see with happy little accidents. Well, if they're still in the room, the next one on my list, Morgan Freeman. Morgan Freeman declined a partial drama school scholarship and joined the Air Force in 1955 because he wanted to learn how to be a pilot. He would serve 4 years as a radar technician and left the service in 1959. He said, I did 3 years, 8 months, and 10 days in all, but it took me a year and a half to get disabused of my romantic notions about service. So that would be a good word of the day, disabused.
That's wonderful.
Can I ask if Elvis Presley was a veteran or was it only in the movies?
He was a veteran and also on my list. 2 years after he became the king of rock and roll, he was drafted in December of 57, joined the US Army, and was stationed here in Texas, just north of us in Fort Hood, before moving to the 1st Medium Tank Battalion, 32nd Armor in Freidelberg, Germany. It was in Germany where he met Priscilla, who he later married, and he was discharged in 1960. And the last one that I'll share for now, Pat Sajak from Wheel of Fortune joined the Army in 1968. Every morning, the first thing at his job, he said, "Good morning, Vietnam." That was a phrase that he would shout every weekday at 6 a.m. from the studios in the American Forces Vietnam Network in Saigon, where he was between October 1968 and December 1969. He wasn't the first to use those memorable words. That was Adrian Cronauer, who was famously portrayed by Robin Williams. But ever since Adrian Cronauer coined that phrase, all of the DJs afterwards followed suit.
Very nice. Thanks for sharing.
One of the surprises from that list, actor Jimmy Stewart, that most of us remember from It's a Wonderful Life. He retired as a 2-star Air Force general. And during World War II, he had to argue with his commanders to be given a chance to go to Europe as a bomber pilot because he was already a famous actor. They said, you know, we don't want to have a famous actor get shot down. But he actually led missions over Germany.
Just a quick update, guys. Already we have the numbers pulled out there. Jessica will be back and she will be letting us know who's the first speaker, second speaker. Then we can go from there.
They are finishing up in the other room. We've got the order and we're all writing it down so we don't confuse the order. Avi, I believe you can bring them all back now.
Yes, they are getting back one by one.
Walking down the virtual hallway.
That was a long walk down that virtual hallway. Sorry.
Okay, we are back. So James, Abby, did you get the speaking order?
Yes, we got.
Yes, we did.
Okay, great. James?
Okay, are there any questions? Chief Judge, are we ready to proceed?
You always catch me with my mouse out of my hand. Yes, we are. Thank you, Lieutenant Colonel Campbell.
Thank you. And sorry for catching you at an inopportune moment. Again, if there are no other questions, the speech contest will now begin. Our first contestant is Ola Adepoju, and his speech, An Encounter with a Veteran. An Encounter with a Veteran by Ola Adepoju.
You are muted.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. Today, I will be talking about my encounter with a veteran. Before I start, I would like to honor the veterans in this club. Mr. James Campbell and Tiffany Harris, we salute your service. I grew up in Nigeria, and in Nigeria, we have what we call Armed Forces Day. It's not for veterans, it's for all armed forces. We just honor them for their service to the country. But now, as a proud American, I have come to appreciate the veterans in a different light. While I was growing up in Nigeria, I encountered my first US veteran. I didn't see him, I actually encountered him through a book. And the person is General Colin Powell. General Powell wrote this autobiography called My American Journey. And one day while I was in college, a friend of mine was reading it, and I got interested in his life story, and it motivates me even up to today. General Colin Powell is a retired four-star general, a great man in all respects. a chairman of the joint, a former chairman of the Joint Chief of Staff, a former Secretary of State, a general in all respect. And when you read about his life, I come to denote veterans as people who are disciplined, who have candor, men of great integrity, men that are diligent, men that put their country first. They take the oath to protect the freedom and the liberty we are enjoying with great seriousness, and they are willing even to lay down their lives for the country. That is the picture of the American veterans in my head, and I doff my hat and salute them all the time. I had a different experience when I finally moved to the United States. When I moved to the United States, especially when I started living in Houston, I saw in the street corner a group of men. They were homeless, they were in the street corner, but they have a banner. And when I read that, they said they were a veteran. And that shattered my understanding and my concept of a veteran. I tried to convince myself that these people are lying because they just wanted to collect money. But the more I read about these people, I discovered that peradventure they are correct. But they came back after service to the country into situations whereby they did not receive the right support. These were men that at one time in their prime, they showed discipline, they showed commitment to the oath to protect the freedom we're enjoying. They chose to lay down their lives, but they came back and they have disabilities, they have PTSD, they have drug problems, and the safety net didn't capture them. They fell through the cracks, and they do not deserve that. Our country deserves better. We should hold all veterans. We should give them the support. They have given us the prime of their lives. Now is our time to make sure we provide the right help for them to make sure they are never in the street corner, homeless at all. I salute their work and I respect them. And I hope the country will do the same and pull them out. The last veteran I want to talk about today is a veteran that I love, a Senator John McCain, a great man in all respect, a former US naval officer, an aviator who actually flew his plane in enemy territory. He was shot down, he was captured, but he stayed the course even when they wanted to release him early so that he doesn't go before some other soldiers. He is a great man in all respect. I respected Senator John McCain and I still respect him up to today. Not only that, he showed us the discipline that he has in the military, a discipline for liberty, that he is willing multiple times to go against political ideology to vote for his conscience. That is why he's a maverick politician. I salute men like John McCain, who has taught us that discipline matters, that character matters, that staying with principle matters, and is a role model for many people in this country. Fellow Toastmasters, I believe we have a lot of things to learn from the US veterans. They are great men. They deserve our honor, but not only our honor, they deserve our respect all the time. Even in my opinion, I believe that when veterans come back, the country should place them in different sectors of the industries to teach men how to be disciplined, how to be focused, how to serve the country, how to put the honor of the country first, and how to lead us as a United States to greater heights. I believe as a country, we hold them adequate care to honor their service, irrespective of the baggage they might have come back with after they've experienced the horrors of war, be it PTSD, be it alcoholism, be it financial situations. The Veteran Administration needs to make sure that all veterans are taken care of all the time. Finally, on this great day, I join 300 million Americans to say thank you for your service, veterans. We love you and we doff our hat for you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ola. We shall now observe 1 minute of silence for the judges to mark their ballots. Timer, please indicate the end of this minute with a green light.
One minute.
Okay, thank you, Timer. Our second speech contestant is Ruth Reitzel, celebrating our veterans through music. Celebrating Our Veterans Through Music by Ruth Reitzel.
By show of hands, if I ask you the question, music or lyrics, how many of you would know what I'm asking? Great, wonderful. Music is a communication style. I would argue that music may be one of the oldest and most basic communication styles. For centuries, it has been used, people have been using words or song in melodies to communicate information that elicits feelings. Happy, sad, joyful, angry, memorable. These are all communicated through song. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, distinguished guests, and distinguished dignitaries. Tonight, we're going to talk about communication through music and how it has been used to celebrate, commemorate, and remember veterans in our armed forces. So back to the music and lyrics. Communication through music has been heavily researched. I didn't do any of that research, but it has been heavily researched. What the research shows is that it truly dichotomizes people as to those that resonate to the music and those that resonate to the lyrics. For me personally, I'm music. I don't know lyrics to any songs. It's sad. That song Sleigh Ride that everybody knows for years and years and years, I knew the tune. Up until about a year ago, I had no idea even how to words to it. For me, it's the music. But and that music is tied to feelings and memories. A lot of the time, I hear a song and it brings up something emotional and something that I remember. For me, that also may be because I spent 20 plus years playing clarinet in a different kind of one band or another. But the theme that of many of the times of playing this music throughout these years was tribute to our military servicemen men. I'm a Texas girl. I went to Texas A&M University. I played in their symphonic band. I was not in the Corps. I didn't march, for those of you who know what I'm talking about. But I did play in their symphonic band. We toured Europe for 10 days and played on multiple military bases overseas to celebrate with our veterans overseas and our servicemen and women who are actively serving overseas. Once I graduated, I moved to Houston and I joined the Gulf Coast Concert Band, which is a community band of people from all walks of life, young and old. And one of their main aspects that they did was we played music for surrounding areas in the Houston area. And we played a lot of concerts, and a lot of those were to veterans. We celebrated veterans. One of the most, in paid respects, one of the most memorable experiences I will ever have is playing a concert on the Battleship Texas on Veterans Day. And I think I did this for like 4 years in a row. I haven't, once I moved, I ended up having to quit the band, sadly. But playing that concert every Veterans Day on the battleship Texas while wreaths were laid on the bow of the ship was one of the most emotional and memorable times I will ever have in my entire life. These memories I'll never forget. And in my own way, I'm thankful that I was able to serve, celebrate, and give back to our troops. But music isn't just for celebration, commemoration. It also is used to communicate identity or presence. Each branch of the military has at least one band or ensemble. I have several friends that actually went on to play in military bands. They also have their own song. The Army has The Army Goes Rolling Along. Marine Corps has the Marine Corps hymn. Navy has Anchors Aweigh. Air Force is called the U.S. Air Force, or often referred to as Wild Blue Yonder. And Coast Guard is Semper Paratus. Though you may not know these names, I guarantee you would be able to hear these melodies and recognize it. These familiar melodies are often, in lyrics are used to communicate pride, patriotism, and often a lot of people, a sense of identity. And they're rolled up oftentimes into a song called the Armed Forces Medley. Now I'll tell you, I've played this hundreds of times, and still to this day, I tear up a little bit whenever I hear this song. I actually was listening to it earlier today in getting ready for this speech, and I found myself a little watery-eyed. It makes me think about how thankful I am for those who served and continue to serve. And I will confess, I always knew there were lyrics to these songs, but until researching it, I never knew the words, and that's kind of sad to say. But again, I'm music. But music is also used to memorialize and honor the fallen. Songs like Amazing Grace and Taps. Interestingly enough, during the Civil War, taps used to be a bugle call to signal lights out for the soldiers to sleep at night. The simple song, made up of only 24 notes, is one of the most recognized melodies in modern times. It's a fixture to pay tribute to fallen soldiers at memorials and military funerals. It's often recognized as an emotional piece that says farewell to someone who has served. Day is done, gone the sun. From the lakes, from the hills, from the skies. All is well, safely rest, God is nigh. With that, I challenge each and every one of you to do two things. One, pause a minute. Think about how you think of music as a communication style. How does music affect you? How do you think it affects others? And two, once we get back to having concerts, once COVID is gone more and we have concerts and gatherings, I encourage you to go to some of these concerts I spoke of. Celebrate our veterans through music. And though I wasn't able to incorporate any of this music into my speech, I will put some links to some YouTube videos so you can hear some of these songs into the chat. Listen when you have time. Most of all, I would like to say thank you to our veterans. Thank you for our service. Without you, our country would not have the freedom that it has today. Thank you.
Thank you, Ruth. We shall now observe 1 minute of silence for the judges to mark their ballots. Timer, please indicate the end of this minute with a green light.
Green.
Thank you very much. Our third contestant is Kendall Campbell. Not all those who serve wear a uniform. Not all those who serve wear a uniform, by Kendall Campbell.
My father was a Marine. He was also a Vietnam veteran. When he came home from Vietnam, he decided that he wanted to continue to serve his country by joining the National Guard Reserves in the state of Wisconsin. I remember being a 4-year-old little girl sitting in the back of the vehicle, our family vehicle, and getting excited because I could take my tiny little hands and I could rub it through my dad's hair. You might think, why is that exciting? But it was so cool because my dad normally had a full head of hair. But when we would pick him up after annual training, his hair was so short. It felt like bristles from a brush tickling my fingers. So I was delighted to do that. At the same time, I was also very sad, and it was very stressful for me as a child because my father was gone for 2 whole weeks. Annual training would take my father away, and I couldn't see him or talk to him. So I certainly did not believe I was going to marry a military man when I got older, but I did. When I married Jim, he was in law enforcement. He was a police officer with the city of Milwaukee, and he was in the reserves with the Army. When we had a family, he was soon activated because of 9/11. We always supported him. We certainly were proud to see him serve his country to the point where we sat down as a family at one point and decided that he would leave his civilian career and he would join the military full time. So he would leave law enforcement and join the military. That was a significant decision because that meant the military could tell the family where they were going to move, where we were going to move, and for how long. So it was certainly a family decision, but I'm glad we made that decision. The military told my husband and us ultimately that we're going to move from the Green Bay, Wisconsin area, and we're going to relocate to Boston, Massachusetts. We were very excited. We were going to move onto a military base called Hanscom Air Force Base, and it was an adventure. It was fun because it was an instant community where we landed at the Air Force Base. Many other military families were there. We all understood where we were coming from and what our situation was. So we had instant community. But it was also extremely stressful. You see, my children were about elementary school to middle school, not even. And they went to 3 different schools in 3 months. We left Wisconsin and they were already in school for 1 month. We got to Hanscom Air Force Base and they were in the military base school for a month. We figured it wasn't a good fit for them. And so we transferred them to a private Christian school in the Boston area. It was exciting also to the point where the military doesn't let you stay in one place for very long. You see, about 2 or 3 years, that's usually when the military will say, time to move on to your next base, to your next PCS station is what they call it. We ended up finding out that we're going to be moving to Louisville, Kentucky. And we did. We were excited to do so. However, when we got to Louisville, Kentucky, we didn't have instant community like we did at Hanscom Air Force Base. We chose to live in the city, not in the military community there. And because of that, I didn't have instant support. And of course, Murphy's Law being what it is, when we got to Louisville, Kentucky, my husband was swiftly told that he was going to be deployed to Afghanistan. So there I was all alone with 2 teenagers now and no community. Again, stress continued. And I found out quickly after my husband was gone that my daughter had significant health issues, overwhelmed, distraught really, and worried about my husband that was going into a war zone, I had no support. But it's interesting, when you think you don't have support, support will find you. And we lived in an apartment building, and downstairs, our neighbors were our adopted grandparents. Chet would take my son out to baseball games and buy him cotton candy and baseball hats, and just gave him that sense of just being a guy. And he needed that as a teenager. Jim's mom came down from Wisconsin and lived with us for a couple months while I was sorting out my daughter's health situation. Even Jim's cousin, who I haven't even met till today, I haven't met her even till today. She sent us a bouquet of flowers with a little card saying, "To the best military wife in the world." And that just warmed my heart, made me cry. I was surprised. I thought certainly my kids were going to be turned off by the military lifestyle, but they weren't. My son, you see, when he was 3, 4, 5 years old, he would march around the house with my husband's big bucket helmet on, and he would announce proudly, "I'm gonna be an Army guy. I'm gonna be an Army guy." And he did become an Army guy. And that's a whole different bag of emotions, let me tell you. I can tell you about the emotions of being a daughter of a military man, a wife of a military man, but having a son in the military, whole different ballgame. But I'm certainly supportive of him. When he joined the military, he became a combat medic, and he served in Afghanistan. And my son did leave the military for a short period of time, but felt called, again, like my father, to continue to serve his country. And he rejoined again, and now he's in the infantry, and he served in Korea. And when he was in Korea, it was extra special because his paternal grandfather was also a Korean War veteran. As a daughter, a wife, a mother of veterans, I've learned a lot. I've learned it's not an easy journey, and not all those who serve wear a uniform. But I'm proud to serve my country by supporting my service members, no matter how difficult. Mr. Contest Master.
Thank you, Kendall. We shall now observe 1 minute of silence for the judges to mark their ballots. Timer, please indicate the end of this minute with a green light.
One minute.
Thank you, timer. Our fourth contestant is Deepika Gorgi. You call it veterans. I call it veterans family. You call it veterans. I call it veterans family by Deepika, Georgia.
Thank you so much, Mr. Contest Master. Dear fellow Toastmasters and dignitaries, first of all, salute Today, I'm going to continue what Kendall had just conveyed to us, a mom's story. But I have two confessions before I move forward. My first confession is none in my family has served in the Army or Navy. Number two, I am where I belong to. I grew up and I moved to North America 20 years back, but unfortunately, till date, not in my family, I have anyone in the service side. This being said, the story goes back 2 years when we decided a reunion, a school reunion. And believe it or not, it was happening after 25, 27 years. And I met many friends. I flew to India. It was a grand celebration. We had so much fun. And I connected back to a lot of my friends. But one of the friend who's the main character today in my This Story, I have been in touch from last 20, 25 years. She, when we were talking about the families, told me her elder son is in army right now getting trained. That was 2 years back, and we all were like, discussing and celebrating about.
Deepika?
Yes, ma'am.
We're going to pause your speech because
yes,
we can't see your video. Are you aware that your video is not working?
To me, it's showing it's working. Is it working now?
There we go.
Is
Okay,
it working
and I ask
now?
that everyone else please disable your video.
Is it working now? Jessica, is it working now?
Okay, you are, I just saw you and you keep kind of in and out.
Okay,
It's
is
working,
it
but
good
your
now?
bandwidth
Should
is
I
low.
continue? I'm on my phone and it's showing okay to me. That's weird.
It's again black screen. Yeah.
Okay, timer, when you paused the time, at what time was Deepika in her speech?
It was 1 minute and 47 seconds.
Okay. Let's try this again.
Should I start?
Deepika, you can start to pick up where you left off if
Okay.
you can remember where that was. And
Okay.
we'll try this again.
Yes. Okay. So I was talking about Sweetu, the friend I met in my reunion. So fast forward 2020, which is this year, we decided, and what we did was we gathered everyone and we discussed more about our family and what we have done in last 2 years. It was again a very good virtual reunion, but there was a big difference. My friend Sweetu joined for a few days in the preparation of the virtual meet, but then she was nowhere there. When we met, she was not there. We tried to contact her, but there was no sign of her. So after our virtual reunion, which happened in June, I tried to contact her and I asked her what's going on, why we are not able to see her. And she said she's been in very, very low period because her son Avi is actually placed in the borders. And that was a kind of news for me. And I was like, all right, that's fine to hear, but just, be brave and everything will be fine. Then for some reason, I got so connected to her that I started calling her like in few days and started upholding. I come to know that there was a day after, I think it was a week, that she was not able to connect to her son by any means. And the base camp had no clue of where Avi is. That was very concerning. So I called her next day to figure out if she had heard back anything from the base, and she said she has not. That was very disturbing. And fellow Toastmasters and friends, let me tell you, this was my first encounter with any kind of veterans family. So now this became like a normal routine for me for a few days, that I would call her and she had new discussions and new problems to share with me. On the 14th day, her voice was very, very low, and I was very concerned. I said, what happened? And she said, the base has not found him from last 6 days, and they are bringing some of the injured soldiers today, and they are hoping we see Avi in there. That was very shocking and very, very, very concerning for me. And I can't even imagine her situation. Call her back in a few hours, which I did, to come to know he was not in the injured soldiers as well. Fast forward 2-3 days, all this dilemma was building up and the climax was too close. I called on 18th day and she and her husband were sitting together and she said, we are glued to the television and to the telephone from the base camp because now they are bringing some of the fallen soldiers and she's not sure where Avi is. Fellow Toastmasters, this was one of those days when I really got too close to a veteran's family. I gave her all the strength that night. I thought, what kind of mom is that? That she has the bravery hidden with the struggle. She has the proud hidden with sense of loss. She has sense of winning while losing everything. That night, I had so many tears in my heart, in my eyes, and in my soul. I realized what veterans' family go through. I called her back the next morning and she said, I don't care if he has fallen off. I have not heard from him. I just hope he had blasted the enemy, and before falling on the ground, he shook the ground of the enemies. These are the words I had written down on that day. And I realized these moms, these families, these dads, sisters, daughters, they are made of different blood. They are made of different flesh. Salute, double salute, more salute to the veterans family. You call it veteran, I call it veterans family. Thank you, everyone. Back to you, contest master.
Thank you. Thank you, Deepika. We shall now observe 1 minute of silence for the judges to mark their ballot. Timers, please indicate the end of this minute with a green light.
One minute.
Thank you. Our final contestant tonight, Minson Vo. It's time we put out this fire. It's time we put out this fire by Minson Vo.
Less than a year ago, more than 600,000 men lost their lives in the battles of what we now call the American Civil War. Less than a month ago, more than 40 million people were slaughtered on the battlegrounds of what we now call the Great War. And less than a week ago, more than 80 million parents, grandparents, and children took their last breath in the disaster of what we now call World War II. As a member of the American public, I want to ask you this. Have we had enough? Have we had enough fighting? Have we had enough violence? And have we had enough death? Mothers and fathers living on every continent, old and young, rich and poor, together and divorced, are anxiously waiting at their doorsteps to see their children never return. And brothers and sisters, once bonded so closely by the tragedies of mankind, are not even willing to sit beside one another to share the feelings of joy, fear, and sadness. What have we done to this world? The world that was built on the foundation of hope, the world that was built on the foundation of family, and the world that was built on the foundation of love. We have torn it to pieces, and it is burning into a pile of ash. My dear friends, as I speak with you today, you will realize that for the means of righteousness and progress, we can no longer afford to do this. The fact is, humankind will never embrace the value of true peace. From the time of the immoral persecution of Christians in the Roman Empire to the deadly riots of the 1960s, we have yet to make any progress. From the time of the bloody battles between the Greeks and Persians to the hostile conflict between Republicans and Democrats, we have yet to make any progress. And from the time of the chilling conquest by the Mongolian Empire to the unrighteous suppression of speech and freedom in Hong Kong, we have yet to make any progress. Thus, our children, our grandchildren, and our descendants 3,000 years from today will never get to experience true peace. So, one may ask, does this eliminate the need for human progress? No. By no means does this conclude that we are willing to sacrifice our mission to change for the prosperity of America. We shall keep striving to produce life-changing technology. We shall keep striving to expand to the beautiful unknown galaxies, and we shall keep striving to negotiate compassionate, life-saving treaties. Because if we take one step in the direction of acceptance, if we tell ourselves that we are content with where the world stands in the midst of violence, slaughter, and chaos, then we as human beings have failed our moral obligations to bring progress upon this world. Therefore, my proposal is that we ought to change by taking no further step in the direction of violence. There shall be no more innocent lives lost. There shall be no more grieving mothers and fathers, and there shall be no more provocation of war. Instead, if our enemies threaten us, if our enemies harm us, and even if our enemies kill us, we must be willing to step in their shoes to find the motivations behind their evils to disarm it. I know this sounds counterintuitive, but look at where the option of retaliation, assassination, and war has brought us. How many revolutions in the kingdoms of history did not lead to the slaughter of innocent people? How many men and women have been assassinated in the past that has not left a family or friend grieving? And how many wars were fought by our brave ancestors did not end with more lives being lost than needed? In 1945, our country ended the dreams of at least 150,000 boys and girls living in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, only to provoke 5 decades of a terrifying Cold War. In the 2 decades following 1955, our country wanted to stop the spread of communism so badly that we murdered around 1 million civilians living in the regions of Vietnam. And in the following years, after the 9/11 terrorist attacks, our country was so thirsty for revenge that we slaughtered thousands of innocent Muslims, some of whom were on our side. Although true peace is unrealistic, America will not have any peace if it does not seek to destroy hatred, the source of evil itself. Thus, we must learn to love differences instead of ignore them. No matter how many people try to tell you, differences are in fact a blessing when it is painted with the right brush. They inspire new, innovative solutions that serve as the infrastructure for evolution. Take, for example, the Great Compromise of 1787, which combined the great minds of William Patterson and James Madison to form an American congressional system now almost 2.5 centuries old. Or the space race, which started in 1955, where two superpowers with opposing ideologies worked to enable humanity to touch the stars and beyond. Conformity limits progress. If everyone had the same views, opinions, and perspectives, then there would be no need to find solutions or compete to cross the river of regression. It does not matter if you are black, white, male, female, tall, or short. What matters is that we are all human beings. Thus, the only way we can make this world better is by lowering our egos and continuing to pursue our differences as those who came from the same origin. I want to end today by reiterating my message. Violence is not the answer, and differences open the gateway to opportunity. It is time we put out this fire. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We shall now observe 1 minute of silence for the judges to mark their ballots. Timer, please indicate the end of this minute with a green light.
One minute.
Thank you very much, Timer. That concludes the Southwest Project Management Toastmaster Club Fall 2020 Speech Contest. Zoom Master, please send the judges, contest chair, and SAA to the breakout room for deliberation.
Judges are too quick. They already left the room.
Excellent. Well, while the judges are deliberating, I'd like to speak with our contestants, interview our contestants for the rest of the group. Ola, are you still on?
Maybe stepped away.
He stepped away, pardon me. Well,
Okay.
Oh, he's there, I think.
was that you, Ola?
That's me. I'm sorry I stepped away.
Oh, not a problem at all, not a problem. Ola, while the judges are deliberating, I'd like to interview all of the contestants in order of their speeches. Now, you represent the Southwest Project Management Club. How long have you been a member of that club?
Yes, actually, I was an inaugural member of this club back in 2014, thereabout, or 15. And I was actually attending the PMI meeting, which holds in the Schlumberger building, and that is where they also holds the Toastmasters Club. And Bruce, the leader, then actually came to the meeting and said, "We're going to start a Toastmasters Club," and I joined. And I've been a member. I usually take a 1 year, 2 year break in the middle one time, but I came back, and I've been a member since then.
That's awesome. Ola, on your profile, you said your favorite quote is, "We get a lot done if we don't care who takes the credit." And that struck me because not just one, but two American presidents are credited for that quote. How is it that you use that quote in your day-to-day activities?
Thank you very much, James. I work in a very competitive industry. To give you a background, I have a PhD from the University of Texas at Austin, and I work in research for Chevron, an oil company. And everyone is super competitive. And sometimes it worked against the goal of the organization. Because sometimes when you're overly competitive, you hide information, you don't say everything. And I was leading a project, and I felt like the best way for us to get the best for this company is to have something like that, a mindset that says, we do not care who gets the credit. We just want to get the right things done. And it served me well as a project manager, and it has served me well in my life. So I credit all those people that give those quotes, and I've used this as my motto in doing things that I do.
Thank you very much, Ola. Let's move on to Ruth. Ruth, are you, you didn't step away, did you?
Nope, I'm here, James.
Okay. I'm in a different view and I don't see all the Brady Bunch there. Ruth, you're also a member of the Southwest Project Management Toastmasters group. How long have you been a member?
Actually, now that I think about it, I think my first meeting was the beginning of beginning of November 2019. So that would be 1 year.
So you're 1 year old.
I am.
Well, congratulations. Happy
Thank
birthday. In reading your profile, your favorite quote you wrote was, "The tragedy of life doesn't lie in not reaching your goal. The tragedy of life lies in having no goal to reach." For the benefit of the group, how is it that you go about setting your goals?
How do I set my goals? First, I want to answer that question with, where did I come up with that quote? I came up with that quote on a quote of the day calendar, and it just struck me. And I pasted it onto my computer and saw it every single day for multiple years until I changed jobs and no longer have an office. But how do I go about setting my goals? I've gone about this in multiple different ways in the last several years. It depends if it's more of a professional goal or a personal goal. But it all comes down to, who do I want to be and how do I want to live my life? And I think about that, and I think about what my core values are and what I want to achieve with those core values. And a lot of those is service. When I worked at MD Anderson and was working in research, I wanted to develop products that would help cancer patients have the best quality of life they could. Now that I'm on work for NASA, I want to keep these astronauts healthy. I want to see them go into space flight, and I want to see long-term missions be successful with healthy astronauts. So I've always kind of dedicated my life to service, but I look at that to set my goals. My mother once told me, what's the best way you can make the biggest impact, and go where that is. So I kind of use that to set my goals as well. When I come down to smaller goals, it's kind of, how do I want to get there? I kind of think of them as kind of guideposts and mile markers. How can I take the path to get there, to make it to the next guidepost? I mean, I am a project manager. I do have milestones. That's a big thing in project management. And I set my goals as to, how do I get to these next little milestones? That's both personal and professional.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Avi, do I have enough time for one more question, or do we have to cut this short?
No, keep going, please.
Let's keep going, yeah.
Okay. Our next speaker, Kendall Campbell. Kendall, you're also a part of Southwest Toastmasters Club. Your favorite quote, "If God is for us, who can ever be against us?" Can you take a few moments to explain your motivation for that quote?
Life. That's my motivation, especially being a military daughter, military wife.
Back to you and the judges.
Yes, thank you. Lieutenant Colonel James Campbell, our contest master. Thank you for all this process. We are really enjoy it.
Thank you.
So ladies and gentlemen, let's give our contestant a round of applause. And timers, has all the contestants qualified?
I can tell you that. There were no disqualifications on time.
Great. Now our chief judge will provide some feedback from the contest. Let's welcome our chief judge, Pamela.
Thank you, Jessica. Well, I can tell you that we are not going to have a recount, and it's not going to take 2 or 3 days to get the results from this contest. The judges were very clear about who they voted for first, second, and third place. So with no disqualifications on time, we proceed with the results. Are you ready for the results? Somebody say yes.
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 All right, so this is all of the speakers' names, I guess. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 speakers that we had. And third place goes to Ola Adepoju. An encounter with a veteran. Thank you, Ola, for your participation, and congratulations. Second place goes to Kendall Campbell. Not all who serve wear a uniform. Thank you, Kendall, for your participation in today's contest. And if we can have some sort of a drum roll fanfare. First place goes to Mensen Vo. It's time we put out this fire. Mensen Vo, congratulations on your participation and your first place selection in the contest. I return control now to Jessica.
Thank you, Chief Judge and her wonderful judge team. Thanks for all the suggestions and your the aids all kinds of documents you provide us, your team give us, very professional and helpful for us who, for me especially, that I haven't actually attended an event like this before. And for the whole team, that in the future, we probably will hold more and more contests like this, and maybe in person in the future. So we will have a lot of document to help us to carry through. And thanks, Evie, for encouraging me to take this opportunity for take on this project and spend time with me at least twice a week and sometime more. And we chat with each other all day long, and also took on all the opportunity, many tasks behind the scene. And thanks, Camille, for sharing the contest documents. And thanks, Akin and Rafia, to take on the roles as soon as I ask. I know I can count on you. And Lieutenant Colonel James, thank you to step in. I know last 2 weeks ago, you are the Toastmaster and you are so happy to take on this role. Thank you so much. And thank you for all the contestants. I know you are all well prepared and you did a great job. And thanks, congratulations to all the winners. And special thanks to Ruth. You take on the spot in less than 10 days, like when the other contestant drop off. And thank you to all of you. And without you guys, we won't have this event. Back to you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Jessica. First of all, congratulations to everybody. We really put some hard work in and we can see the result here. It was with flying color. One thing I really want to show here, winners, we already got awards for you. This is for the winners. And for participants, we have another award. And for judges, we also got memento for you. Thank you for participating in less time here. We really appreciate your help. Special thanks to Pam. From the beginning, you guided us how to move along, and rest of the judges too. I would like to go ahead and also thank the functionaries here who stepped in behind the scene. We worked really hard, especially timers, ballot counter. Jessica, you put a lot of effort in this. We know you wrote every document, every process. This was really good. To wrap up, I would quickly like to go through every guest here. To start with Pam, please provide your feedback, how you felt about today's evening.
I am just blown away by these speakers and the content of their messages and the passion with which the speeches were delivered. Even though Deepika had to kind of regroup and start over in the middle of her speech, she was very professional and did that with aplomb. I mean, it was just great. And thank you all for helping her along by disabling your videos. And so Deepika, that took a lot of courage to do what you had to do. But in the event that there is a contest and some video or audio malfunction happens, that's what happens. The chief judge will pause the contest and then ask the speaker to begin back where at the time that their speech was paused. So thanks again for just forging ahead and going right ahead with your speech. It was a great speech, and you were a good friend in that situation, Deepika. So I really loved the
Thank you. That means a lot.
Yeah, I really loved the theme of all of the speeches, and I can tell you it brought me to tears more than once tonight. So I think you've done your job. If you can make me cry, you've done it, right?
Thank you, Pam. Thanks a lot. Sharla, would you please like to share feedback with us?
I thought this contest was very well done. I know this was the first time. I'm so proud of you all. thank you, speakers, for being courageous enough to step up and to speak so passionately about your topics. Thank you, Mr. Contest Chair, I'm sorry, Mr. Contest Master. Oh my goodness, you had me cracking up. Wherever your next comedy showcase is, I want to be there. You were fantastic. Thank you, functionary.
I'm a laugh a minute. Most people can only tolerate 2.
Oh, we thoroughly enjoyed you. I loved everyone's theme for this, everyone's commitment. Thank you so much. I'm so proud of this club. Excellent job, speakers and functionaries. Thank you. Thank you, Avi. Thank you,
Thank you,
Jessica.
Peter, please share your feedback.
So as my first time, I really did enjoy it. I also very much liked the passion that I saw from all the speakers. I was also really was blown away with the idea that y'all have your jobs and you really, it's clear that you took the time to get prepared for this. So the hour, the time, the effort, whatever it took to get prepared is really awesome and very respectable. I like generally in presentations and speeches, what I like is the personal aspect that people bring to it. And so just you all sharing your experiences and just making it, makes it very real. Makes it a lot more engaging than when it's just kind of like robotic kind of a deal. So that was great. And I also have to mention that Mr. James, that it's a very spectacular job with just with everything that you did tonight. So it really was enjoyable for me to, and a pleasure and an honor to just listen in and watch. So thank you.
Thank you, Peter. Luz, we would really love to hear your feedback.
Okay. I would really like to congratulate you on the organization of the contest. Everything was very well done. Everyone's participation was good. And I'd like to thank especially Deepika, because she accepted the invitation. She belongs to one of the clubs that is under my area. And when I announced the contest, right away she said, I'll participate. So I got them in touch and here she is. And she did a wonderful job. Thank you very much for having accepted that invitation. And thank you, Avi, for inviting me.
Thanks, Luz. Latanya, please share your feedback. Latanya, you there?
Yeah, hi, good evening, everyone. I really enjoyed the contest and I see so many budding speakers, so I hope to see everyone participate at the club level in the spring and look forward to seeing what comes of it at the area, the division, and the district contest. So good job, everyone. Have a good evening.
Thanks, Latanya. Thanks a lot. Alina, please share your feedback.
Oh, Elena loved speeches. Elena loved speeches and it was wonderfully organized. Thank you for having me here. And well, it was a great intellectual going out, you know, in the evening. So this evening was just, it was the pleasure to be here and enjoy speeches and connection and this club. Thank you.
Thanks, Alina. Yolanda, please share your feedback with us.
Thank you very much, Avi. When Charlotte said that it was your first contest, I was shocked. I mean, I could not believe it. I have been to a couple contests, maybe one or two, and I've seen clubs that have been doing contests for years that did not run their contests as well as this club did. So kudos to all those who participated. Well done. And the speakers, wow, absolutely great job. I've been to a couple contests here or there as well, and I've seen a few speakers, and the caliber of speeches were right up there with what I've seen on that World Champion of Public Speaking stage. So that is a definite testament to those that spoke tonight. I appreciate the invitation and I'll definitely return. Thank you.
And I'll just say that Yolanda knows what she's talking about. She's been to the semifinals more than once, and she's also been to the final World Championship of Public Speaking stage. So, wow. Thanks, Yolanda.
Oh, great job.
Huge feedback. That's a huge feedback. Thanks a lot, Yolanda. And finally, Cassie, please share your feedback, Cassie.
Thanks, Avi. As usual, as always, I love your club. I love what you guys are doing. The participation to have 5 different speakers in a contest level, you guys, you rock. Continue to do what you guys do best. And I just wish that we can get some of these other clubs, like these corporate clubs, to actually visit your club. This was an outstanding meeting. Actually, I was hungry before when I joined this call, but it's like I've already ate because y'all fed me with all this energy and the stories. These stories actually touch my heart. And I'm like, Pam, I was like over here with tears. So keep up the passion, keep doing what you guys are doing. And thanks again for inviting me.
Thank you, Cassie. Thanks a lot. Well, we are over time right now, but I'll keep the meeting open. Everybody, thanks a lot. I know this was the first time every officer, every participant did this job for the first time, and we did good, yeah, as we heard the feedback. So congratulations to everyone. Next meeting is 2 weeks from now. Yeah, let's go sign up if we have any roles left, and we look forward to the next meeting. Thank you, everybody. Really appreciate everybody coming over. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thank you all.
Bye.
Thank you.
Before everybody leaves, if you have already guessed, please fill out the guest book. I posted the link in the chat. Thank you.
Thank you, Ruth.
All right, thank you so much. Pam, it's really nice meeting you.
Thank you.
And thank you for not having to drive a recount. So that was good.
No recount, right?
Yeah, no recount. Yeah, I was thinking whether we'll get into a recount mode, but
no.
Thankfully, we both agreed very quickly. So thank you so very much. I've heard your name several times. Of course, I know Shala, but I've heard your name, Pam, several times. But it's good to be able to actually put a face to the name.
Thank you.
All right, so you all take good care, Luz. Don't get tired of us. You need to visit us more regularly. So you all take care. Have a good night.
I have 2 other clubs to visit on this night.
Okay, go for it. You've got it.
Take turns.
Yeah, we've given you the energy now, so you go for it. So have a great night.
Okay, you too.